Hi, welcome back to the Goddess Coach channel, to all my goddess mums and ladies out there. Today I'm gonna go back to something that is more of my professional work. It's something I'm quite passionate about, and it's actually brought to my attention by an article I read, and it kind of disturbed me a little bit. It's about social media, and my background as an EQ coach. You know, social media is so much a big part of our life today, and there's no doubt about it. I'm on social media. I'm coming to you via YouTube. I love my Instagram to share pictures of myself, my life, my family, my children. I have my YouTube account, I have my Facebook account to keep track with my families all over the world. And Twitter, you know, just because everybody has one, I have one, but I hardly use it. But what I'm concerned about is that our children are not being taught to properly use social media because their emotional intelligence is not there yet. And to some extent, a lot of us parents have not been taught how to deal with social media as parents. So I thought, I've not been able to find anything out there that's very specific to parenting classes when it comes to social media. So today, I think it's best that I share with you my own tips and thoughts about EQ when it comes to social media as a parent. So here are very simple tips that I would like to share with you, and I hope it will come in handy and it's a good stepping stone for you as a parent of young children or teenagers on their journey to adulthood with intelligence, with emotional intelligence when it comes to social media. Rule number 1 for all parents. Remember, this is for you to share with your children. This is not for your children to just listen on their own, but I would love for you as a parent to sit down and discuss with your children, okay? Rule number 1. Social media is not social life. Please remember to tell your children about face-to-face socializing, how important it still is to have a social life where you meet friends in person. I still tell my daughter, my oldest is 14, I still tell her, please have a play date. Bring friends over. I would like to meet them. You know, come by, I'll cook you, I'll bake you cake and we'll have milkshakes, and please have sleepovers, movie dates, whatever it is, go skating. Social life interaction is really, really important, and a lot of people think, I have friends on Facebook, I have friends on Twitter, we chat. You know what? Remind them, it's not real life, okay? Rule number 2, celebrities and personalities are not our friends. Now, just because they are polite enough to reply to our tweet or our question on Facebook or our interaction with them on Instagram, because I've been excited when, a certain celebrity or two tweet me back, or I'm like, ooh, so exciting. But you know what? Let's not assume we can cross the line and talk to them like we know them personally. I have seen a lot of inappropriate comments written by fans to the likes of, let's say, Kim Kardashian, because of what she did. I always feel that these people put out a persona online. It's up to us whether we want to accept what they do. If we don't like what we do, I don't think it's nice to say, all the expletives and cross that line where it becomes a little bit rude. So please remind our children that, personalities, there's still a line as a boundary that they cannot cross, okay? Rule number 3, very important. Nothing is private or secret or sacred once it's typed and clicked published or enter. Many people, young and old, mistakenly believe that they can hide behind a persona and say things they would never say face-to-face to another person. Always remember, only write and post what you can defend whenever it comes to the court of law. Please tell your child that. They cannot write what they feel. They cannot write what they think about. Sometimes we think about like, oh, I hate that friend, I want to kill her. But don't write that down, because if someone takes offense and they want to go down the legal route, is our child in trouble? My daughter almost got into trouble with the school, even though it was a private tweet. It was to a particular group of people. Someone in that group thought it was fun to share a snapshot, a screenshot of her tweet, even though in my eye it was a little bit personal, but it was not malicious. She still got into trouble with the school. It was not a big deal for me as a parent, but for the school it was bad enough that she got punished. She learned her lesson, and I'm glad that it became something that we can talk about, that we can discuss. So please remember to remind your child, nothing is sacred online. Okay? Remember the Snowden story. Rule number 4. Be aware of trolls. These are people whose online job is to incite hatred. It's their job, to incite hatred and to flame others into reacting negatively and really just unnecessarily. Please tell your child, don't get into an online war of words with these trolls. It is just going to waste their time. It is not worth it. Remember, trolls equals to non persona grata. Waste of time. Rule number 5. Now, this is a very sensitive rule, but it has to be discussed by any responsible parent who has allowed their child a profile on any social media network, whether it's Tumblr or Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, or even if they start a blog. Be aware of pedophiles. There are a lot of people, unsavory personalities, who do something called online grooming. They will pretend to be a young person or a teenager or a youth to gain the confidence of your child. And most of the time, they are not who they say they are. So please remind your child to watch out for inappropriate questions or suggestions. And most of the time, these are through private messages. Now, these online groomers will gain the confidence of your child. And when your child has lost that, if they've opened up themselves, this is when the online groomers will start asking inappropriate questions. And it has led to a lot of very sad cases that we've been reading online. It really breaks my heart when I read some of these cases as a mom with 4 children. One a teenager, one 8 years old, just learning about social media. And I've got other friends who has expressed the same issue. So please, this is something you really need to discuss with your child as a parent. Any responsible parent would sit down with their child before they even let the child create a social media account. Now, having said rule number 5, this is rule number 6. Be aware of the inappropriate acting friend. These are typically teenagers or people that your child might have come into contact with either through school or social activities. And because they are of the same age range, your children's guards could be down a lot faster. Please remind them sometimes those children can also act inappropriately. So do not send any photos that they can regret later. Which comes to my rule number 7. Never send out or share intimate photos. This rule has been broken by so many adults, so let alone a child, a young teenager, to even be aware of, to be emotionally intelligent enough to realize that this is wrong. Photos can be used to intimidate or to bully the sender into doing even more inappropriate things. Suddenly your child could be the recipient of blackmail. Could be the victim of a blackmail. Please remind our child that their body is a temple. It's a sacred place, and only at the right moment and with the right person should it be revealed. Now, this comes back to you as a parent having a frank heart-to-heart talk with your child about their body and about sexuality and to some extent sensuality. Because rule number 7 goes back to rule number 6, which is, having inappropriate friends. And then that goes back to rule number 5 about knowing when someone is inappropriate and when it could be dangerous when it comes to the likes of pedophiles. I have been in my past as a youth having friends, contacts online who have asked for inappropriate pictures. Now, one of the rules we can always say, I want to see your face. You show me first. They would never do that. Then you know something is not right, that they are not who they say they are. So please keep our child safe. Okay, that brings me to rule number 8. It's a little bit milder than the other 3, but it's still very important. It's be aware of the words we use online. See, when we meet someone in real life, or as the kids say, IRL, we have to remember that first impression is made up of 55% our visual cues, which means the clothes we wear, the makeup, our hairstyle, our hats, our shoes. And then it's made up of 38% of our body language, which means the way we walk, the way we smile, the way we twitch our nose or our eyes, and do you know whether you're comfortable in that situation. And only 7% is made up of our words that comes up from our mouth. So in the absence of vocal tones, happy, sad, angry, whatever, and body language, online we're just left with our words to be judged on. Now, even though as a parent and as a coach, I don't agree with judging people by just a few simple words online, and I also tell my children that same thing, do not judge someone by what they write. The fact is, most people do. Most people judge ourselves and our children with the way they write, the things they say online. And of course, the things they say online can sometimes be reflected back to you as a parent. So it's very important that they choose their words carefully. They need to just read through again and again and just realize what could it be construed by the other person. Let me give you a simple sentence. The question, let's say, why do you do that? Now, in a negative tone, it can be said like this. Why do you do that? That's in person, right? That sounds really negative. It's like saying, it's like a very judging tone. It's a very accusatory tone, like, why do you have to do that? But if you say it in person in a positive tone, it's, why do you do that? It's a more curious, it's a more fact-finding question. So you see, if I were to write that sentence without any tone, with absence of body language on a tweet or on my Facebook, nobody understands whether I'm trying to be serious or be funny or to question or just to be a bit of a bad person, a nasty person. So tell your child, if they're in doubt about what they have to write and they might think that it might be construed the wrong way by another person, delete and start all over again. Or maybe come to you as a parent and get your opinion on whether they think it's the right thing to say. All this comes back again to you as a parent, being there for your child. Again, I'm going to repeat, before you even allow your child a social media account, please sit down with them and discuss the pros and cons of what could and will happen online. The safety aspects, the privacy, the security of this all. Now, there's a lot more things about social media EQ that I would love to cover, but of course this is not, this is a short video just to get you introduced to this concept. A lot of videos out there, a lot of tutorials online are about social media EQ for companies and management, but I'm not seem to be able to find anything for parents. So I thought, let me just share my ideas, my tips for you, and if it has come useful, or if you get any more questions, I'm always here. I'm happy to do tutorials and coachings and workshops. Please get in touch with me if you've got any more questions. And in the meantime, keep your children safe and yourself too. And I'll see you in my next video. Ta-da! Much love and peace.